What's going on, MSFers? Duelim here, and today we finally have intel in War and Cosmic Crucible, and I'm going to be reading some player feedback regarding that. We're also going to be talking about how all of these milestones are just pay to complete and how it's impacting some people's perception on the game. We're also going to be talking about who you should gear tier 20 first when it comes to the Vigilante team, because I do believe there is a right answer. But first, we finally have intel in Crucible. That's right. Up in Masters 3, you're getting 145 per KO. So that means one kill in one room gives you 145 times 5, obviously. And we're also getting weekly rewards and then season rewards. And the season rewards are kind of lackluster, honestly, compared to the weekly rewards. But that's how it's always been for Crucible. So I'm not too surprised, to be completely honest with you. But it seems like this addition of intel to the other game modes is really nice, and people are liking it, which I think is the main driving force of intel. It's making people want to engage with this game more. This Reddit post says, as an endgame player, it is really nice to get rewards I actually need in War and Crucible. And oh no, I clicked an ad. We're going back. In War and Crucible, I haven't been incentivized to do more than minimum War in ages. Same, because I'm just not a fan of War, and that's okay. I know some people aren't a fan of Cosmic Crucible. But he's finding himself, or she is finding himself, wanting to do extra attacks just for intel. I love playing Crucible regardless, but it's nice to see something for playing normally. Feels good to get something useful besides just waiting for the season rewards. And I think this is one of the best things about intel and what the developers really wanted to have happen. And I think this is just amazing, because this can go either way. Now people who maybe haven't liked Crucible maybe want to try a little bit more in Crucible to be able to get that extra intel from those knockouts, because I feel the same way this guy does. I don't care for War very much, and this is making me want to do a couple extra attacks in War every single time to get a little bit more intel. Now, next, we've got more people upset with the Odin event. And it's a paywall event, is what this guy is saying. The only way, as of now, to get the diamond orb frags is by having a 5-star or higher Hyperion. A Tunu isn't released yet, which I completely agree with this part of it. You cannot get the diamonds, as far as I'm concerned, other than unless you paid for the Thunderbolt characters, which I'm not a fan of. The only other way to get meaningful kind of points to complete Negative Zone, which is not free-to-play friendly at all, since you need the newest team, basically a max level. Now, I will say the new team for Vigilante is 100% available free-to-play, because you'll see my Vigilante team here. I did not spend anything on them, and this is my team right here, and I was able to one-shot all of the nodes without too much issue, and I do have a guide on my channel. If you're curious, make sure you go check that out as well once this video is finished. So it is able to do free to play, but I do agree you do need gear tier 19. You do need level 105. Some diamonds on the reworks were pretty helpful. Not a necessity, I don't think, but definitely pretty helpful. And I did do the middle left piece, the gear 19.5 piece on the 3 new characters as well. And I was able to do it. Now, I understand this player may not be at that level. And that's where we talked about my feedback on Negative Zone yesterday, where all they needed to do was put difficulty sliders so someone like this can make progress on the event. Maybe not as much progress as somebody else who's able to get all the way to the end, right? And get a lot farther because they're doing the hardest difficulty. But at least they're able to just participate. And this person doesn't even want to participate because they feel like they're being totally paywalled. And they don't want to spend 45,000 cores to get a 5-star Odin, which I don't blame them at all. And this is giving a lot of negative connotation to the game. I'm not annoyed, just disappointed that they can't do a regular event and just add some whale stones instead of having events disguised as offers. So I kind of agree with this, because you can't, there's really nothing somebody like this person can do, because the event is tailored to endgame of being able to do Negative Zone. And I think that needs to change to be able to include everybody so they can at least push a little bit further and maybe not get as far as being able to do the hardest content, but at least getting something I think would help players like this feel a lot better about events like this. Next up, this is a pay to complete milestone is ruining the player experience. And yeah, I agree with this, but this has been the ballpark standard for a while for milestones. And it's been something that has been going on for quite a while. But I understand their annoyance with it of like, hey, let's just keep it to the offer store and stuff like that. But It is in the offer store, right? And now we have in-game those milestone offers that the little milestone button or the offers button in the milestones to get the offers here and go straight to that, which for spenders, I think this is great because you don't have an issue of potentially buying the wrong milestone points. So I think this is good in essence to make more money for them. Cool, awesome. Not for me. That's fine. But I do understand the sentiment this player has of just feeling like nothing is completable unless you are spending. And when it comes to milestones, yeah, whalestones are kind of a thing of this game, and they're going to be here for quite a while, which I know a lot of people don't like. And this person also doesn't like it, especially when it comes to the Gear 20 burst milestone. And it's a gear, and how can it be called Gear 20 burst if the only way of getting any Gear Tier 20 is by spending? Milestones don't make sense. Milestones don't make sense for free to play like me. If the rewards are paywalled, it's really bad. They don't pair milestones with actual game achievements, and they all depend on purchasing stuff. Now, I really agree with this. Calling this a Gear 20 burst is kind of misleading. I feel like this should be a Gear 20 premium burst or premium milestone because that word premium has been used throughout the life cycle of Marvel Strike Force as a way to say, hey, you're not getting this unless you spend. They do have the offer button in the top right corner here, but it's kind of a bait and switch because it makes you feel like you're going to be getting some Gear 20 free to play up to milestone 10 without spending, but all of these are just Crimson Gear raid orbs, and I don't really like that. Now, they did change it up a little bit here, and they did put some wording here in the scoring saying complete premium milestones 11 plus by buying points in select offers, but I think they could go one step further here and say, hey, mark this as a premium milestone, that there is no way to get past this without spending money. Put an asterisk, put a little symbol, put a little offer, whatever it is, to be able to signify where the breakpoint is between person that can max this out free to play and between where you need to start spending, so people don't feel like they get that bait and switch. Because I feel like that's where the issue is that bait and switch. They're feeling like, oh, cool, Gear Tier 20 burst. I can't wait to get all this Gear Tier 20. I can get all awesome. I'm going to get all these milestones, but I can't get past milestone 11 without spending. Oh, okay. Well, let's see the Gear Tier 20 that I'm getting from here. And oh, it's Crimson Gear raid up. It's more Crimson. Oh, there's no Gear Tier 20. And that's, I think, the issue with it is they're feeling like they're getting duped and they're not really getting what they are being advertised as a Gear 20 burst, because it should be like a premium burst. There should be wording behind this to change that up to make people feel a little bit better when it comes to that. Now, lastly, I wanted to talk about which Vigilante you should be taking up to Gear Tier 20 first. And I absolutely think there is a correct answer to this. So this guy said only have enough Gear 20 to do one of the Vigilante, should have a second soon, but I still can't decide which 3 Vigilante I want to use for Xavier, and now additional Gear 20 would help in negative zone. It would seem Silver Sable is an easy decision because Sage will be used first, both no discussion, but will help me more in negative zone if I choose Daredevil Modern, Punisher, or Hitmonkey. So there's a couple questions to this and a couple answers to this, right? So when it comes to the saga, I would say Silver Sable is absolutely your first choice to Gear Tier 20, without a shadow of a doubt. I would say that also goes for negative zone as well. Silver Sable will absolutely help you in negative zone the most because she is the linchpin of the team with her ultimate going off at the most pivotal times possible, putting out defense down, disrupted, all the good stuff, and making sure you're removing all of those positive effects because those things can be resisted like taunts and stuff like that. So Silver Sable, absolutely the first. Now, when it comes to the next characters, in order, I would say do Daredevil Modern, and then what I would say is do Punisher, because if you're only going to do 3 of the Vigilante characters, I would do Daredevil Modern because he's the tank and he's really, really important, and then Punisher because he's only 2 pieces, so he's a lot cheaper than the other ones, and I know gear is a big sticking point, so he's only the bottom left piece here and the middle right piece here. So I would say Punisher and Daredevil Modern. Daredevil Modern first because he's going to be really benefiting from all that extra damage and all of that extra health he's going to be giving out. And I would say skip Hitmonkey, and I would do Oath and Blade for that first part of the Vigilante saga, or not the Vigilante saga, but the City Hero saga, because Blade and Oath are going to split up some gear and make it so you're not just wasting all of your skill gear, because you do need skill gear later. Obviously, you need skill gear for endgame Thanos, Lilandra, stuff like that. So kind of spacing that out is helpful. So I'm going to be taking Silver Sable, Daredevil Modern, Punisher, Blade, and Oath as of right now. And I think that is going to be the best order to be able to build them for the saga, as well as for Negative Zone to get the most bang for your buck. But that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed, got some good information in there. Until next time, this has been Duelim. Later, MSFers.